All right, honors kids, this is going to be like number 13 on your chapter 5 test review. And when we talked about doing this in class, this was the converse of the hinge theorem and all that jazz. We said when you do have to, the directions here are find a range of possible values for x. So we should probably put that, find range. And when you have to do this, there are a couple things that have to happen. You have to have two sides that are congruent before you can do this. So we have LP and LM, and they each have this one tick mark, so they are congruent. And so that's one side. And we have LN congruent to itself, that's the second side. And we have to be talking about the angles between those two sides. So right now we're talking about the 5K minus 12, which is in between PL and LN. And we're talking about the 38, which is between ML and LN. So we're talking about the angles between them. So to do this, you have to look at the sides across from these angles. We have an 18 and a 19. The 19 is bigger, so then the angle across from it that we were talking about, that 38, is going to be bigger than the angle across from the 18, which is the 5K minus 12. Okay, so a range is two numbers, so I'm going to have two inequalities that I'm going to solve. And the first one is going to say that the 5K minus 12 is going to be smaller than 38. Okay, since 18 is smaller than 19, the angle across from the 18 is going to be smaller than the angle across from the 19. So then we're going to solve for k. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So 5k is less than 50. Divide by 5. We know k has to be less than 10. So 10 is sort of our top range. And when we decided to do this, we talked in class that this angle at the very least you know has to be bigger than 0. So the second inequality we're going to have is 5k minus 12 is greater than 0, and I'm going to add 12 to both sides. And I get 5k is greater than 12, divide by 5, and you get k is greater than whatever 12 divided by 5 is. I'm just going to leave it as 12 divided by 5. And then we said this is great, but you're not officially done yet. You either have to write k is between 12 over 5 and 10, or you can write a compound inequality and say 12 over 5, we know that has to be less than k, and we know that k has to be less than 10. And I'm going to fix that k so it actually looks like a k and not a less than sign, because that would be super confusing. Well, maybe I am. All right, there we go. And we'll make this say k that actually looks like k. Perfect. Okay, so here's our range. So when you do range problems, if you don't have two numbers, you didn't write a range. So keep that in mind when you do this. But that's it.